And I want to share a little bit about the situation with Ukrainians. We haven't really had much contact with Ukrainians because they barely spend 24 hours in Tijuana and they cross immediately. However, 2 days ago, we published a statement because we see a lot of inequality between the treatment towards Ukrainians and other nationalities. And I'll share a little bit about this. So on April 6th, CBP started processing Ukrainians through Tijuana. And DHS announced that they were going to increase their capacity so they could process Ukrainians quickly. So since April 6th, they started processing about 500 to 1,000 people every day. And just in less than 20 days, they were able to process 14,000 Ukrainians. And that's a positive thing. We're happy to see that. However, it's a big contrast because the border has been closed for any other nationality seeking asylum for more than 2 years. And when back before the border closed, when they had the metering list operating, the most they would process in a day would be 50 people. But some days they would process 10 people, 5 people, or nobody at all. And now we're processing up to 1,000 people every day. And the people who were on the metering list, on the waiting list before the pandemic, who are still waiting for any answer to their case, it's 9,600 people. And last year, a federal judge from the US determined that the metering list is illegal and those people should be processed immediately. However, both the US and Mexico say they haven't done it. This judge ordered that in August of last year, and they still haven't processed anybody because the US and Mexico say they don't have capacity to process so many people. And they say that it will be chaotic, and that's 9,600 people. But in 20 days, they processed 14,000 people. So that's a big contrast. DHS also mentioned that they were not going to separate any families, which is good, but it's a big contrast with the zero tolerance policy for Central Americans and other nationalities. Also, Mexico has a big part on that. When Ukrainians arrive to Mexico City, they immediately get a tourist visa to travel to Tijuana or another city. And in contrast, we saw in Tapachula, Haitians and Central Americans trying to come to Tijuana, and they just can't because the Immigration Institute and National Guard stopped them. So we just pointed out all these inequalities. We want to make clear that we're in solidarity with Ukrainians. We know that they're fleeing from war and nobody should go through that. But I think it shows us that it is possible. It just shows us that if they have will, they can have resources and staff. And I think the Ukrainian, so since this Monday, they stopped processing Ukrainians, and now Ukrainians are going to be able to fly directly from Mexico to the US by plane. But this experience in 20 days, it shows us that it is possible to process people in a dignified and quick way. So, and now we see that Title 42 might not be eliminated. So we're trying to see what will happen, but we want to point out this inequality that we have seen.